Hi everyone, Rosie here. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. Started to set this up and it didn't work the way it was supposed to, so I had to start over again. Hello, hello. Let me just get you guys up on my computer here. Make sure my volume is muted. There we go. And so I can see your comments. Just give it a couple minutes. I'm going to share a few things with you guys today. Yeah, that seems to be okay. And I've got some Foundry Wax here to play with. I kind of left a little bit of mystery in the description. So as you join me and hang out, we can kind of go through a few new products, and yeah, I've got a lot of stuff to show you. But right now it looks like it's me, myself, and I. So let's see. And I'll just hang out. All right, hopefully this is working. I'm not sure. Usually there's more than just me here by now. Let me see. Let me see if I can see anything on my iPad. Hopefully this is working. And let's see. Yeah, it looks like I'm live. All right, yep. And we are live. So I'm not sure if anybody's here. I'm not seeing any comments if anybody is. So let's see. Well, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't see comments, and I'm not seeing if there's anybody actually here. So hopefully somebody is. Oh, great. Now a comment is popping up on here, or at least a notification that there's someone here. Hi, Erlene. Nice to see you. Yeah, this is Rosie here. We've got a bit of a slow start to this live, but it seems like it's been much busier for people now that the weather is getting nicer. Spring is kind of here. Oh, great, Erlene. Glad you can hear. Fantastic. It might just be the two of us and whoever can catch on replay. I think there's a lot of busy people. Hi, Lorraine. Hello, Margaret Erica. Oh, enjoy your lunch, Lorraine. Yeah, with this beautiful weather, I think that, and spring tends to get busier, right? So I think a lot of people don't have as much time to stop in for lives and that, but that's fine. You can catch it on the replay. Hello, Margaret Erica. Okay, so there's just a few of us here. So those of you who are here, I'm going to give you an option. I have lots of new stuff to show you. And I also want to show you a little bit of these Foundry Wax, how this Foundry Wax works. And we'll put a card together. But I'm going to let you guys who are watching pick. Would you like to take a look at some of the new products first, or do you want to look at the Foundry Wax first? Maybe we'll look at the Foundry Wax first. Yeah. That way, if anyone's watching on replay, maybe, and they already know how it works and want to skip through it, that's fine. I don't know. We'll just get going with something. So these are the, great, Erlene, right on. So these are the Tim Holtz Distress Foundry Waxes, and they're really cool. They're almost like a liquid gilding foil. So this is kind of what they look like once you heat set them. And I'll kind of show you how it works. I was playing around with this and I added a little bit of translucent crackle paint over top. I'm not sure if you can tell, it actually gave it a lot of really fine crackles, but we'll take a look at that crackle paint a little bit here shortly. So the Foundry Wax is actually quite fun to play with. And the easiest way to apply it really is with your fingers. So I'm going to show you what it looks like here. We'll work on a piece of black, and then I'll also show you what it looks like on white, because it actually does look good on both. So let me just shift my little glass mat over here a wee bit, just so you can catch the edge there. And I'm just going to quickly plug my computer in so I don't lose comments halfway through. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Just had to find it. It's a hot mess in my craft room here. We're doing a lot of prep for the Great Canadian Scrapbook Carnival, so it's busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so these waxes come, there's 4 of them, and they come in sets of 2. So I've got the statue in the Foundry, or sorry, pardon me, the statue in the Sterling. And I forget what the name of the other ones are. I think it's Mind and I don't recall. It's almost like a rose gold, the other ones, one of them, and I think more of a coppery even than this one is. But so to use these, now there's a few different ways you can use them. Let me grab my die cuts that I did have right here handy, and of course now I don't see them. They have run away. Oh. Let's see. Oh, they're right in front of my eyeballs. Never mind, they're right here. So I'm going to show you what it looks like on black and on white. But let's just kind of take a look at it here on just a plain piece of black cardstock. Now you're going to give these a really good shake, and they do have a ball inside there, and you should be able to hear it kind of make its little noise. Hi, Tamara. It's not, but trust me, it should be okay. And sorry, something's come up on my computer here. Just gonna X that out. So you're gonna give it a shake, and then I'm putting it down here on my glass mat. So it comes out quite liquidy. Now the key with this is you need to work fast. So you can see now it looks quite creamy, and it feels like a cream. Now I'm going to intentionally kind of let it just harden up a little bit there. I haven't tried this yet, but apparently you can kind of add a little bit of isopropyl or alcohol, rubbing alcohol to that, kind of see how it's quite gloppy. So that's not going to spread very well. So let's see if we just add a spritz of rubbing alcohol to it. And that's gonna, yeah, we can move that around and give it a little bit more life. I'll add a little bit more. There we go. And now that kind of brings it back to that creamy consistency. Now, I don't know if you could actually let that sit for, like if, for example, if I've got quite a bit there, once I add the alcohol, it actually seems to increase the amount of the material. So, but I'm not sure if you could kind of regenerate it, kind of like a watercolor palette or not, but we'll leave that sit there and see. So I'm just going to grab a baby wipe quick. Kind of wipe that off my finger. So now and you want to make sure too when you use this that you put that cap on tight, because it dries out very quickly. And so I think you can hear this one. As I'm shaking the statue, you can hear that ball. Kind of rattle around inside. So again, I'll put some down on there. Probably don't need to put that much. And quite quickly it goes to that creamier consistency. So I'm just going to rub that around. So this is just so you kind of take a look, can see how this applies to your paper. Okay, and so now with this wax, you're going to have to heat set it. You need to heat set it so that it just stays in a solid state, and then it's not going to move off your paper. So I'm just going to warm up my heat gun there a little bit. Hi, Judy. And it's like the magic of heat embossing. So you'll be able to see it change color. There you go. Hold it at that angle. Now you can see the silver is a little bit thinner because it's not quite, there we go. Now you can see it change color. So you can see I've left that as that starts to bubble up. So it's almost like heat embossing. You're just going to take it to where it just starts to change color and then it's set. Okay. Now, out of curiosity, this has sat here for a little bit. So I'm going to, once again, add a bit of rubbing alcohol and just see if I can make that move around a little bit. And I can. There we go. So you probably wouldn't want to leave it overnight, but you could, if it starts to dry a little bit much more quickly on you than you want, then you can hit it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And then that'll get you a little more life to that. Okay, so that's what it looks like on the black. So it's beautiful. And then these ones here I applied with a paintbrush. So just alternating the colors. I added those there as well. So now you could spatter with this as well. I'd probably add a little bit of rubbing alcohol to that just to give it a bit more of a paint-like consistency as opposed to such a creamy texture. That would be more difficult. Now let's take a look at what it looks like on white. And now you can also, if you wanted to use a stencil, you could just kind of apply that through a stencil if you wanted to add a little bit. If you're really into mixed media and you want to add a little bit of shine to your project, that would work really well as well. Hello, Diana. So I'm just going to shake this up. Now you can hear as I'm shaking this one, you can hear that ball rolling around. And as I'm shaking the sterling, not so much. So you know what I think may have happened is when I was playing around with this, I think there's a possibility I did not tighten that lid all the way. And so it's already started to thicken up a bit or dry out. Okay, because it will pretty much evaporate quickly. So that's just key to know if you're going to pick some of these up and work with them. Just make sure you put your lids on tightly when you're finished or in between using them. So I'm just going to use the sterling here and we're just going to see what this looks like on, or pardon me, the statue on white cardstock. So I'm just going to pick some of that up with my finger, and this time I'm just going to dab it. Kind of pounce with my finger. Hello, Darlene. Now I'm not trying to get a perfectly smooth application here. We're just kind of playing around to see to add a little bit of shine through a stencil. So looks a bit messy, but let's try and add a little bit more on top. So if we let that sit a little bit longer, then it'll become more creamy like. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Lindsay. There we go. So I'll just go back over where I've dabbed before. Kind of deepen that. Just add a little bit more, another little layer. And I'm just tapping. So it's not a perfect application, but just we can see if you wanted to work through a stencil, you could. But quite honestly, I have a feeling in order to kind of be able to see the pattern really well, you probably have to use quite a bit of the wax, and it's not going to last you that long if you use that much. But let's kind of see what this is going to look like as we apply the heat. There we go. So here you can add quite a bit of texture to this. Let me just heat this little guy up a little more. There we go. Oh, I love that. It looks really like melted wax. So if you're wanting to add some texture, you can do that through your stencil. What I would say probably here and there, I think it would be wonderful on like a mixed media project. A journal page would be really fun, and to just add a little bit of shine through your stencil. Now this cleans up quite well, and it'll clean up on our stencil. Let me just grab a paper towel. And to clean it up on my stencil, I'm just going to spray a little bit of alcohol, and then I'm going to come over top with my baby wipe. It's kind of a used baby wipe, and then I'm just going to flip that over to get anything that's on the back side, to take that off. There we go. And I'll come back after and use a bit of alcohol on my glass mat just to pick up any residue. Okay, so now one of the ways I think that this is really one of the best ways to use it is to just add a little bit of shine to the edges of your die cuts. Sorry, I should get a piece of white paper so you can see this. There we go. So these are just die cuts I've cut with the leafy garland die. Last time I looked, we still had it in the shop, but I cut those out of black cardstock. And so I think this is one of the, yeah, they are pretty. One of the easiest ways to use this wax, and that you could use really no matter what you do. You don't have to be a mixed media artist to make some good use of these. If you're a card maker, these will work fantastic. Now I'm going to add, actually we'll do the statue, because I want to pair this with a sentiment that's got gold on it. So this is closest to gold. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that again. And now I'm just going to come around, and we're just going to basically add it to the edges of the blooms, kind of go all the way around the edges of this die cut. Now, if you wanted, you could do this, pick it up with a little paintbrush, even a foam blending tool, if you don't like getting too messy. And we're not looking for perfection, you just want to add a little bit of shine on the black. So this is just a super easy way, especially if you've got a lot of dies, a lot of die cuts. Whoops. Just kind of add a bit of interest. Okay, so, and these, you don't have to worry. This isn't like heat embossing where you need to kind of, you know, you do have some time to take your heat embossing to your heat tool. You have a little bit of time, but eventually you don't have oodles and oodles of time. This is okay, you don't have to rush this. You can kind of work away, and then you just heat set it once you have all the gold applied, or all the wax applied. So it dries fast once you add it to your glass mat or your whatever you're working off of. You can work off a craft mat as well. I've done both. But it's not going to dry instantly. You don't have to worry about rushing to heat set it while you're working on your other die cut. There we go. So I'm just going to add that. So simple, simple, simple. Okay, and now we can get the heat tool out. And I'm going to grab some tweezers so I can just hold this a little closer. I didn't add as much on this one. Yes, Margaret Erica, you do have to use the heat tool on it. Just a sec. To set it. Otherwise, it's not set. But once you heat it, it's done. And I'll try to hold that up a little closer. I don't know if you can notice that it kind of bubbles up and it gets shiny. There we go. Okay, I'll just show you with this other one. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. So you can see it just, might be hard to pick up on camera. It just starts to get shiny and bubbles up. There we go. Okay. So then you could even see as I was applying it, because it was starting to dry, the wax it was getting a little bit flaky and a little bit chunky, but once you apply that heat, then it melts it. That's probably the non-technical term. It melts it. So now we've got just some nice little subtle shine added to our little die cuts there. So now what I'm going to do, I was actually digging through my stash of backgrounds. So easy peasy way to put a card together now. Let's see, you guys tell me, which background do you prefer? So these are two inked backgrounds I've done in the past. This is with the oxide inks, and this is with the distress inks. Yes, exactly, Margaret Erica, it totally makes it pop. Like I said, that's what melts that wax and gives it that lovely shine. So I think I'm going to use this distress oxide background. And this would be excellent, like this wax would be fantastic if you want to add it to your, to the edges of a word, or like of a word die, would be perfect for that. Almost make it look like it's been dipped in wax. Okay. So I'm going to add these. Now maybe let's try to do a few splatters. Yeah, I know it's beautiful, isn't it, Margaret? Let's try to do a few splatters on this. And don't worry about that. That's just a little bit of, it's actually ink stuck to my finger. But it's, there you go. It just scrapes right off. Yeah. So you can see it doesn't stick to much. It's easy to clean up. Okay, so I would love to try doing a few splatters on this oxide panel. So I'm going to add that to my mat. And grab my paintbrush. Okay. Now, I may want to add a little bit of ink. We'll see how it splatters, because as it is exposed to the air, it starts to dry. So we may not get any movement. So you see that? We're not really getting anything coming off of that brush. So we're going to add a little bit of alcohol to that. And let's see. You kind of want to get it. I'm not sure if it's going to splatter. I might just spray this right on my brush. And see if we can get any splatters. There we go. They're very fine. So, whoops. It might be hard to see. We'll see once we set it, because they're very fine. So let's see if we can get that. We're able to see that a little better. I might actually hold this up. Okay, yeah. Oh my word. Wow, look at that. Okay, so can you say hello night sky with the sterling? That would be fantastic. Or galaxy backgrounds. Like if you use the sterling on that, oh boy. On a galaxy background. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm just going to clean this up really quick before I accidentally set something into it. And I'm just going to spray my paintbrush with, there we go. Just with some rubbing alcohol. I'll probably take it to the sink too later, but I'm just going to give it a spray so it doesn't harden up on there and wreck my brush. I'll just set my brush aside. All right. So now we can go ahead. So just a simple way. So if you love metallic splatters, super, super easy to do, and wow, you get a lovely shine with this. So now I'm just going to quickly add some liquid glue to the back here. I just want to show you, make sure I have time to show you some other products, and hopefully even get through another card if we can, if we have time, without taking up your whole afternoon. All right, so I got to say that playing with new products is a great way to also dig through your stash. You know, when you play in the past, like for example, playing with your Distress Oxide inks, with different blends of color, if you make alcohol ink backgrounds, playing with your gel press, making jelly plate backgrounds. That's when this is a time when it's great to pull those things out and just add some of these other little things that you've been playing with. Okay. So I'm just going to lay that down there. I might need to add my little block. Here, I'm going to flip this over actually and just press that down. We're going to have to go we're not really going to wait for it to dry, so. Hi, Jenny. We're just playing with the Foundry Wax right now. All right. Yes, Lorraine, I am using the art glitter glue. And this is I don't know, this is a top that I bought, I don't even know when, like 10 years ago, something like that. I do have those, the art glitter, the little small tops with the pin that goes in it. I actually have a couple of those. I've always got a backup just in case something does not decide to cooperate and it needs to be replaced. Okay, so we can see that simple there, and now I'm just going to add this sentiment, which is from the Pink Fresh, here it is. Let's see the name, Foiled Sentiments. So there's like 42 sentiments in here, silver and gold. So perfect to use with your Foundry waxes. With these two anyway, Sterling and Statue. So I'm just going to grab my foam roll and we're going to pop up that sentiment. I probably should put it on a card base first though. All right, there we go. Yeah, they are fantastic sentiments. And they even have some like just plain words. Let me just take them out here. I don't know if anyone's really seen. I haven't actually looked through these very much, but I'll just show you here real quick. So there's lots, and they're all foiled, like I said, gold or silver. You can use these on scrapbook layouts too. Yeah. I like these ones that are, so like for example, congrats, perfect for cards. Hi, Judy. Okay, so we won't go through all of them because there's lots of stuff to look at today. Just gonna set those aside. Try not to drop them all on the floor. Okay, so back to this. Now I'm just gonna give my topper here, my glass mat, a little bit of a better wipe real quick. There we go. I just had a bit of kind of wax residue sticking to my card front, so I just wanted to clean that up. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly, I'm going to use the liquid glue here too, just to save a little bit of time from digging out another adhesive. Ooh. All right. Just going to add that to the front of this card really quick. There we go. All right, Just going to put my lid back on so I don't dry out my ink. And then we'll add a bit of foam tape to the back of this from our ginormous foam roll. I think we've got a few different kinds of foam rolls in the shop. And I know we have these sentiments in the shop, and we have this die in the shop, and there we go. So pretty simple. We've got a bit of shine on there. You can see the shine on the edges with that wax. So this would go a long way. It's a half fluid ounce bottle, but there's a lot in there. Okay, so let's take a look now at a little bit of a closer look at the silver. So what I want to show you, another really easy way to use this would be to emboss your cardstock, either black cardstock or dark cardstock. Here I've done white cardstock, and this is embossed with the Altenew Enchanting Vines 3D folder. I love these Altenew folders. You get such dimension and depth. And I just gave this a little spritz with a little bit of water before I ran it through my embossing machine. So now let's use the sterling wax. Oh, thanks, Cynthia. Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I just have the sterling and the statue. I think I'm going to get the other two colors. And I guess I could look up here quick and tell you what those other two colors are. Let me just, I've got a tab open on my computer so I can tell you what they're called. And the other two are Gilded and Mined. So I believe Mined is more of a rose gold, and Gilded would be more of a gold, where this statue is a bit more of a coppery gold. Okay, so again, you would shake this until you hear the mixing ball rattle. But like I said before, I think I did not put my lid on very well, so you can see how thick that comes out already. So for sure, just make sure you put your lid on really well so that it doesn't start to dry out. Okay, so I'm going to try to be gentle with this. I might have to add a bit of rubbing alcohol to that because it's quite thick. Now you could probably use a ink blending tool lightly, but again, let me just add a bit of alcohol to that because it's not spreading as thinly as I like it. So the fact that you can see it's kind of getting very goopy, but that's because, again, like I said, I think I kind of left the lid off too long. It's starting to dry out. But it's still usable. There we go. This is a much better consistency. So you definitely want to work quickly. And we'll just lightly apply that. Just rubbing it over. I'm not pressing down. I'm just wanting to hit the high points. There we go. So there's a little bit of, I don't know if I can dig that out or not. We'll try. Oh, there we go. Well, that came off nice. Kind of the thicker spots there when it was a bit goopy. Okay. All right. So let's add the heat. There we go. And there we go. You can see that starts to shine. So it doesn't bubble up, or you don't get as much shine if it's applied thinly, but it does heat set it so it's stable. So it's not going to come off your project. So there we go. Now I gotta say, I don't know if it's possible to burn it or not. I do know that it does bubble up, but it doesn't burn. Oh boy, look at that. Okay, so super, super simple card. If you wanted to just add that to your embossing, a sentiment, let's see. This one fell out of the package, but if you wanted to just keep it in a nice, something like that would be just beautiful. Kind of a tone on tone monochromatic with the silver. Yeah, I know, Cynthia, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so that's another way that we can use that. Do you guys have any questions about the Foundry Wax? I mean, I don't know if I can answer them all, but yeah, you definitely have to use the heat on it because, you know, it basically melts it like a wax, but you can see as I'm rubbing over it, once that heat is added, then it stays put. It's nice and solid and ready to go. There we go. Okay. So now I want to show you one other thing. Let me just clean off my glass mat here so I'm not getting Foundry Wax on everything. Okay. So super, super simple. Super simple to use these guys. Okay, so now I want to show you one other thing as well that we have in the store now, and that's this translucent crackle paint. Now, with it being translucent, that means you can color this. You can actually color the crackle paint itself. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I colored these. I'm not sure if you can tell, it's very faint, but I did these earlier because it does take a little bit of time to dry for the cracks to develop, but they're very, very fine cracks. It's actually quite beautiful. It almost looks like if these flowers had dew or moisture on them in real life, like a little bit of dew on them. Okay, so I'm just going to show you really quick how I did those. Now, these flowers are from they're actually these inner pieces from this Lawn Fawn Spring Flowers backdrop die. Here, just put these out here so you can see them. So actually what I did before I cut the middle out of that is I just ran this through my die cut machine with white cardstock, and then it cut the frame and all the inside flowers. So tip for you, even if you get something like this that has the dies in the middle, don't cut them all apart. If you leave them all in one all together as they come, then you can cut all those at the same time. Just saves you a little bit of time, and then you can just put those die cuts aside and use them in the future. But I'll show you how I colored these flowers. So now I did do an experiment where I did this flower on the right with Distress Oxide, and I did this one with Distress Ink. Both the same color, Salvage Patina, but you can see this one is a lot more vibrant. So if you want your whatever you're going to color the paste with, or the crackle paint to be a more vibrant color, then just use like the Distress ink or probably any sort of dye ink. That's what I would recommend with that. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of ink down here on just rub it onto the glass mat. And then I'm going to take a palette knife, and all we're going to do is take a little bit of that paste, hang on, and just mix it in here with the ink that I've put down on the glass mat. Okay, and then I can just come in, probably added a little bit too much paste. Oh, there we go. Now we're keeping the color. Okay, and then I'm just going to apply that. Just over the top of this die cut. Just kind of clean up the in between the petals there. Okay. And so you can make this any color. So I'm sure you could, distress spray ink would be beautiful to mix together with this. I haven't tried every type of medium. I'm sure like a watercolor brush marker, I bet you could mix that with this as well. It's something I'm going to play with. Okay, and there we've got that. Now you just set that aside and let that dry. Okay, so it's as easy as that if you wanted to color your paste, or you can apply it just over top of anything that you've inked and you'll get that little crackly effect. But they're very, very fine, like I said, very small, very fine crackles. Okay, so how do we combine these with this beautiful frame? So a few different ways. We can ink our frame, or we can get out take out a previous background that you've made, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to leave the frame white because I think it just gives such a beautiful impact when you've got that stark white over top of an inked background. And super, super easy to ink. I don't have a white. Oh, there we go. Super, super easy to ink. Okay, I think we've all inked many a time with distress oxides or distress ink. And again, this is distress ink. And I'll just tell you the colors I used on this one. Oh, actually, I'm lying. This is not distress ink. This is my Altenew inks. Yeah, or maybe not. No, it must be. So we've used some, this is Sunkissed down here, Teal Cave and Sapphire, and then you can see where you overlap. Here we get green, and here we get kind of a bluey into the purple. So if you've got those Altenew ink cubes, I know they're quite popular in the store. You can create some beautiful backgrounds with those as well. Okay, so let's get this frame onto our background. Now you could put some double-sided adhesive on this before you die cut it. That would probably be would be the easiest way to get adhesive on here and then attach it to your background or your card front, but I was not that organized. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. The nice thing with the glue, you have a little bit of wiggle room. It doesn't dry immediately. And then you've got a little bit of wiggle room. Oh, you have those, Cynthia? Yeah. Well, you'll love them to create backgrounds like these if you'd like. All right. I may have to go back. Okay, there we go. I used quite a bit of ink on this when I first made this panel, so it's a little bit warped, but what you can do is just put some strong double-sided adhesive and that'll adhere it to your card front very easily. Okay, so now I'm going to use some of these flowers that were part of this lawn fawn frame that I die cut earlier. Okay, and I'm going to I think I'm going to put, oh no, whoops, I missed an inside piece. Whew, thankfully we caught that guy. Now these are the flowers that I've colored the translucent paste with, and so I'm just going to, I think I'm just going to add them back in here, but I'm going to pop them up. And I'm going to put this blue guy down here, And then we'll put our pink one just off to the side here. Maybe over here. Actually, this blue guy is smaller, so I want my big flower kind of over the big one, and then we'll do this one here. Even though it's kind of matchy-matchy with that middle part, it'll be fine. So I'm going to pop those blooms up with a little bit of foam tape. Now, if you've got some micro squares, you can use those. Otherwise, I'm just going to put it in the center, I think, if I can make that small enough. Kind of offset it a little bit so that you can see the white behind that. Thanks, Lorraine. I know this frame is absolutely beautiful. And really, you could make your whole background a floral background, like a floral die cut background, just with this die cutting this frame, and then you could put all your flowers inside that, kind of like this, if you wanted to do that. You could take all those little inside flowers and then just scatter them around, and then place your sentiment on top. I might have to add a little bit of glue to that after, just because I think I touched it too much. It lost some of its stickiness. Okay, and then our last one. Okay, I'll have to use, that's not sticky, it lost its stickiness. Okay, now our yellow one. I'll put that up here. There we go. Now, if you wanted to on this one as well, you could, before you glue this down, just add a little bit of the sterling Foundry Wax to the edges of your leaves and blooms, and that would be beautiful. I think what I'm going to do for these ones is I have these teeny weeny tiny little flower centers. So I think we're going to add the wax to these guys and then glue them on top of here. Now what I should have done, thinking in hindsight now, hi Sheila, is I would have loved to have added some of these sterling splatters to here. That would have been beautiful. But I don't want to get it all over that beautiful die cut frame, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly, working really quickly, add some of this. This is going to be really messy. Wax to my flower centers there. Thanks, Sheila. And a little more. There we go. So I want these to be nice and shiny. Now you could add gems or sequins as well, but I'm going with, I got the wax out, I'm going with the wax. Okay, just gonna clean my fingers up here real quick. And let's get the heat tool out. Okay, sorry. I'm not sure if I can do this without blowing them around. Probably not. Where's my tweezers? There they are. And let me find my guy that ran away. Oh, he's way over here. There we go. All right, sorry about that, guys. Oh, stop, stop. There we go. All right. Now I'm just going to give that a second to make sure they're dry before I touch them. When the wax is thicker, it is very melty. So I don't want to touch it before, so you can see this one is quite, let's see. This was quite a bit thicker, the layer that I put on there, so, and you can see that. But these ones that I got on just a nice layer, it left all the detail of that flower center, which I think is kind of cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add these little centers to this. Just add a bit of liquid glue. Just pop that in the middle. You could pop that up if you wanted, but I am not going to do that. And yes, I know that's quite a bit of glue, but because these flowers have that crackle paint on top, I just want to make sure that the little flower centers are going to stay on. They're not going to fall off because it's not, you know, I'm gluing paper to a paint, essentially, not paper directly. Okay. And so then I'm going to use one of these Pink Fresh Sentiments. I thought I had one out here in silver, but I don't know where I put it. Oh, there it is. I was going to use this. I guess I can. We can turn it this way. There we go. Oh, yay. Sandy says the art glitter glue will be back in stock soon. Woohoo! And I'm going to pop that up as well. Since my flowers are popped up, I think it just, everything just being on the same level visually looks better. Okay, let me just, and I'm going to add another little piece up there. I probably overdo it, but just want to make sure it all stays together well. All right. So nice you could pop in, Sandy. Okay, and now I'm going to just place that right in the middle. And now I may come back in later and add some gems to here. Oh, 1 pack of those sentiments left. All right. Better hit the store if you want those, but I mean, they're beautiful. So I'm going to add this to an A2 card base, but I'm going to do that later. I just want to make sure that those flower centers dry. Hi, Kelly. So, love how this turned out. So again, so we've used the Foundry Wax, we've used the crackle paint on here, I've used some Altenew inks, which we've got a lot of the ink families in the store. Oh, thanks, Margaret. Okay, so before I let you guys all go, I'm going to quickly run through some wonderful products that are in the store. And I promise I'll be fast. Thanks, Sheila. Yeah, it is cheery. But I'm just going to clean up that little piece of wax so I don't make a mess. All right. Here we go. Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, these backgrounds I've used, they were just ones that I made a long time ago, just playing around. So those are the 2 cards. So let's take a quick look. I promise I'll go fast, unless you want to see something a little more close up, and then I can take that out for you at some of the awesomeness we have in the store. Hi, Betty. I'm just going to kind of raise that up a little bit. Oh, right on, Cynthia. Well, make sure you post it in the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group. Hopefully you're already a member there. Nice to see you, Betty. Okay. So let's take, you can see this pile of goodness I have here. So the latest group of 4, oh, sorry, Sandy, I've got wax on my fingers. I'll clean everything up before I give it back. So we've got the latest group of the Distress ink release of the new colors. So the Salvage Patina, the Prize Ribbon, the Villainous Potion, and the Saltwater Taffy. Okay, and so again, these flowers I used, well, actually just the Salvage Patina. I didn't get the Saltwater Taffy Distress ink, but I think I'm going to need to now. Okay, so that's in the store if you've just been waiting for that final color to get released to get yourself the Distress ink cubes. Okay, so that is there. And we've got this new paper from Craft Consortium. It's called Wildflower Meadows Special Edition. This is a 6x6 paper pad, and it's got some beautiful patterns in here. Both the front cover and the back cover have these have prints on them, so you could fussy cut those out. Yeah, for sure, Betty. Okay, I won't flip through all the patterns, but oh, there's some beautiful foiled papers in here. Like, it is absolutely stunning. We've got dragonflies, butterflies. So gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm not sure if we've got a 12x12. There might be a 12x12. I peeked in the store earlier, but I cannot remember what I saw. Okay, so that's available now if you love these Craft Consortium papers. Okay, now we've also got some 49 and Market. Okay, so let's see, we've got a few different, these are called Spectrum Sherbet. And now first we've got the, is it this, Sheila? The Wildflower Meadow Craft Consortium. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah, that's what it's called, Wildflower Meadow. So I think if you just, hang on, I'm just going to check here. Yeah, it's the 6x6 paper pad. Yeah, if you just type in Wildflower Meadow in the search, it'll come up. Yes, isn't this beautiful? So this is called Strawberry Lemonade. Just open this up and give you a quick boo. So these are all 6x8. You're getting 28 sheets total. So in one pack, so it's three each of the 9 different patterns. Maybe I'll just show you the back, that's easier. Here, let me just raise that up there so you can see better. Okay, so that's the Strawberry Lemonade. And then it also has one element sheet that you can fussy cut. So that would be this one. With all those blooms, beautiful colors. Be some stunning Mother's Day cards with those. I know, it's gorgeous, isn't it, Jenny? Okay, so that's the Strawberry Lemonade paper pack. I don't want to rip that. And then we've got the Sherbet collection pack. So I'll just take it out of the package. It's a little easier to see what it looks like. Yeah, exactly, Sandy. Oh, the butterflies, stop. Oh boy, you might not get this one back, Sandy. You might just have to bill me. Oh, I love that too. Here, maybe we'll find the back sheet. Hi, Joanne. So you can see all the papers here. And again, double-sided, you're getting 28 sheets in here in total, plus the paper pack to, oh, and then it also does it on the landscape, the butterflies on the landscape orientation. Yeah, the blue-green is beautiful. So this is a gorgeous, gorgeous paper pack as well. Okay, and again, that's the Sherbet collection. All right, so now before I show you that card kit, let's take a look. We've got the Tidal Wave collection. All right, and so some beautiful blue-greens in here. Oh, you know what I like? Okay, so this is the kind of the the page showing you what's all in the package. But when you flip that over, like they've actually kind of printed part of made that a piece of the pattern paper, so you can use that. So nothing goes to waste in this pack. And there's some beautiful blue greens. Oh my word. Yeah, this is stunning. Just a beautiful shade of blue. Oh, and look at that. Yeah, gorgeous. And now we might as well flip over and take a boo at the, yeah, and see, this gives you the, oh, the same pattern then, but just the colors, here the colors are just reversed. With the green and the blue. Very smart. I think that's a very smart use of paper. Nothing going to waste. And then there's some of the reverse patterns here. Just quickly flip you through those. Yes, Cynthia, exactly. Oh my word. Oh, I love blue greens. That is stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. I'm going to move you guys up a little bit more because I don't think I'm getting everything in the frame. There we go. But wow, just beautiful colors. And then the greens into the blues, then our patterns. Yeah. Wow, lots of beautiful stuff you could do with this. Traveler's notebooks, cards. You could use it on 12 by 12 scrapbook layouts. Honestly, you could. And if you love doing mixed media, like this would be, it's actually a fairly thick cardstock. I wouldn't, treat it exactly like a watercolor paper, but you definitely could use some paste and such on it as long as you're not too heavy with it. Okay, so guess what, for all you card makers, or if you're not sure if you would like to get into card making, they have this wonderful Sherbert card kit. So just to show you what all comes with the package, or inside the package, pardon me. So we've got these rub-ons. Oh, it even comes with your little rub-on stick. Hi, Diana. So we've got these rub-ons you can use for your sentiments. Here's some, let's see, these are stickers for your embellishments. Okay, then you've got, these would be your card bases. So they're printed. There you go. And then they've also given you envelopes. So we've got how many here? 2, 4, I think that's 8. Or is it 6? 8. 8 envelopes. So they've done all the work for you. I had to make a decision as I don't need both collections. It's like choosing a favorite child. I hear you. I hear you, Lorraine. Yeah, I need no more paper, said no card maker ever. Exactly. Oh, and they're double-sided. Oh, wouldn't that be beautiful? So goodness, or if you've got a friend who would like to get into card making but doesn't want to invest a whole ton of money, this would be a fantastic kit. And then if you even wanted to send along some die-cut words or something from your stash, that would be fantastic. But they've got everything here to put together some beautiful handmade cards. So 8, you have enough to create 8. Oh, and these are the sticker seals. So these are seals for the envelopes. Very, very fun. All right. So that is the Sherbert card kit. And now we've got, this is called the Sherbert Remnants. So these are, die cut pieces. So 24 mix and match cardstock die cut pieces. So these are going to go with the various collections. So the Tidal Wave, the Strawberry Lemonade. Let me just grab that real quick. So for example, here's the Sherbert collection pack. So you can see these die cuts are going to coordinate with these, all these papers. So again, that's 24 die cuts, and let's see, it ranges from, the smallest would be, let me see, a 3¼ by 3¼ all the way up to, let's see how big this biggest one is. 8½ by 8½. Yes, you've got every range of sizes here. If you're going to pick up one of the collections, definitely you could for sure use this on your scrapbooking layouts, or cut them down and use them on cards if you're just a card maker. So that is $49 in Market. Spectrum Sherbert. And now I've got one more thing to share with you, and this is from Spellbinders, and yeah, that is glitter. Yeah, this might be finding a new home with me because it is beautiful, if I can get it out of the package. So this is from Spellbinders. It's the pop-up die cutting glitter foam sheets, and this is in the Shimmering Tropics. So you're getting 5 sheets of glitter teal. Okay, and yeah, that's foam, all right. It smells like foam. Just here you can see the thickness. So not super thick, but probably fine enough, especially if you're mailing your cards. So you've got 5 of the glitter teal and then 5 of the glitter bright green. So especially if you're die cutting, if you're going to use this to, let's say, die cut blooms, small flowers, or smaller word dies, this is going to last you a long time. You're not going to get through this super fast unless you're doing a lot of mass production. But oh man, see a sentiment out of this. Whew. With that white background, beautiful. Or you could die cut a frame out of this. But that is from Spellbinders, and they're the pop-up die cutting glitter foam sheets. So you can just cut it all in one go. And I'm just going to see here. No, it looks pretty good. I'm rubbing it on here. No, we're not really feeling, it doesn't flake, which is nice. So the glitter is pretty nice and solid. But yeah, that is from Spellbinders, and that is new in the shop too. So if any of these things have caught your eye, then by all means head over to the shop. And also, no, I think that's it. So there's a lot of new goodies there in the shop, and I'm happy that I got to share them with you. And I'll just bring in these cards again. I'll photograph these and then I'll post them on the Scrap Shotz page and in the Facebook group and on the Scrap Shotz Instagram page. So if you're not a member of the Facebook Scrap Shotz paper crafting group, come and join us. There's monthly challenges, and we have a great time looking at everybody's projects and being inspired by each other. Thanks, Margaret. And don't forget, I think we're 2 weeks away from the Creative Scrapbooker Magazine Carnival, Great Canadian Scrapbook Carnival here in Calgary, and Scrap Shotz will be there. The whole team will be there, so we'd love to meet you. And of course, we're going to have make and takes and demos, and we'd love to have you stop by for that as well. And then 2 weeks later, we'll be in Edmonton, so we'd love to see you there as well. So, thank you, Cynthia. Thanks, Lorraine. Honestly, the products are so amazing. It's hard to narrow down ideas. That's how inspiring they are. But yeah, but again, so join the paper crafting group if you haven't already. Don't forget about the carnival. You don't have to be scrapbooking at the carnival to be able to come and stop by and say hello. It's also open shopping, and as well, you don't have to be part of the carnival to do any of the make and takes or the demos. You can just drop in for that. And yeah, Cynthia, we cannot wait to see all you guys there. And I believe Carla will be back next week, I think. Although I guess it depends how busy we are getting ready for the carnival. But she should be here next week. And thanks, guys, for joining me. And if you're watching on the replay, thanks for stopping in and watching on the replay as well. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. And hopefully you get some time to do some crafting and this weekend. And enjoy the weather if you've got some nicer weather wherever you are. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye.